Hello. Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, May 5th, and this is Coffee and Headlines. Welcome back. It's such a pleasure to see you this morning. It's always a pleasure to see you. And as always, how many times can I say always in less than a minute? As always, we are going to examine headlines from our city, state, and country. We're going to take a look at your comments and your questions and your ideas, which are always wonderful and beautiful and sometimes funny. And sometimes there are all kinds. I don't know why I'm saying this. All I'm saying is welcome to our opportunity to connect with one another, to connect with what's available for us to connect with here in Puerto Vallarta, our city, as a community of... somebody didn't get the memo. As a community of English-speaking locals, what do you mean Happy Cinco de Mayo, Patty? You didn't get the memo? You did not get the memo? Let me share a graphic that I prepared just for you. We don't do Cinco de Mayo, not here in Mexico. Don't be heartbroken and embrace this as new knowledge. We don't do Cinco de Mayo. So if you want to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, hey, power to you. But just know and be grateful for this new knowledge. We don't do Cinco de Mayo. Marie says, I'm glowing with excitement. No, Marie, I'm shiny because I'm sweaty. But if you want to think that I'm glowing with excitement, I am glowing with excitement. And I will answer all your questions and I will look at all your good wishes after we share some news. I'm so glad you have so many comments already because that gives us more things to talk about in the second half of the broadcast. But first, as always, we welcome friends that are joining us live for the first time here on Facebook. We don't do live on YouTube for several reasons. If anybody's ever curious about that, I'll be happy to answer. But please know, YouTube friends that get to watch us later on in the day, we love you just as much. And for those of you that are watching us here live on Facebook for the first time, if you add the word new to your comment, we will be happy to give you a nice welcome. Cinco de Mayo means nada to Mexicans. Absolutely. We do not do the Cinco de Mayo shindig. And we'll repeat it as long as we have to. We don't mind it, but we are always tickled by the fact that a lot of people from the country up north, the first one, not the second one, you guys are so gung-ho about Cinco de Mayo, and we're like, what? Who? What? Anyhow, first, the news. Secondly, oh, Patty didn't know. Oh, Patty, well, let me enlighten you. We did this just the other day. It is an important battle in our history, in the history of Mexico, that took place in the 1800s. So it's not a fake date. It's not just like 4th of July important. You know what I mean? Cinco de Mayo, we don't even get a day off. Well, some official workers do, but we don't. Cinco de Mayo matters more to Taco Bell and other places. And as we said the other day, if you go around wishing Mexican nationals happy Cinco de Mayo, you're going to come across as one of those tourists that just got off the plane for the first time. And you don't want that, do you? So, again, no Cinco de Mayo. Um, where was I? I don't know where I was, but we are now going to take a look at our news. And then we are going to take a look at what? Seriously? Okay. Oh my God, your comments are absolutely wonderful this morning. Let's hurry through the news so that we can get into all these thought provoking questions. Actually, and speaking about thought provoking questions, not that you need to know about my process or that you care or that you care. Oh, please don't be embarrassed, Patty. You know, it happens to the best of us. You know, it's like if I went around the United States going, you know, have a happy Mayflower Day. You know, it's like, no big deal. We love you. We love you. Anyhow, when I go looking through the news, I always look for topics that, or when I try to put the news together, I look for news items that go well together and things like that. And sometimes the news have a specific thread that combines them together. So I think the thread for today is either shady or food for thought. I'm not entirely sure, but you will tell me once we get done with the news. And now we start with the news. How many times can I say news in 1 minute? Not enough, apparently. We begin with COVID good news. According to Fernando Peterson, who oversees our sanitary region within the state of Jalisco, and almost 2 weeks after the Semana Santa and Pascua vacations, there is no indication of a COVID spike in our state. Yes, there are new cases, but the numbers do not reflect something to worry about. So in this note that was published yesterday by Vallarta Independiente, Peterson confirms that the health board will meet on May 8 to determine if there are any changes in the current health-related mandates. And this is what we announced just yesterday or the day before. But this other news note, also published yesterday, indicates that the health board's May 8 session will actually be postponed until after Mother's Day, which takes place in Mexico every May 10, given the fact that Mother's Day is such a big celebration in Mexico and definitely one that brings large groups of people together. The health board will not meet until May 20 once they have had an opportunity to see if Semana Santa combined with Mother's Day had any effect on the numbers that would lead us to change the health-related mandates. But of course, our bottom line hasn't changed, and neither have the health mandates. So between now and then, we continue to wear our face mask with boundless enthusiasm. We continue to keep ourselves distanced from other people. Nothing has changed. So we don't need to repeat them. Anyhow, moving right along. We've mentioned a couple of times that Jalisco has announced that COVID vaccines for children and teenagers ages 12 to 17 are coming. But in Nayarit, they have already begun with campaigns starting today in the nearby municipalities of Bahía de Banderas and Compostela. In Bahía de Banderas, which is just north of the border with the state, vaccines will be available from today to Saturday for children, again, ages 12 to 17, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the El Toro Bravo Hall in San Jose del Valle. For more information or details, you can check out this news item that I have here for you. Moving right along. This is untimely. Last week, we announced that Mexico's foreign chancellor, Marcelo Ebrard, was to fly to Washington, D.C. this past Monday for a meeting, and he did just that. And he met with U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. Then Blinken tested positive for COVID. Ouch. So before you jump to any kind of conclusions, please know that Chancellor Ebrard has tested negative for COVID, which is good news for him and us, not so good news for Secretary Blinken. Now, Marcelo Ebrard will join Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador in a short 4-day tour through Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Cuba. But this got me thinking, and please allow me to share a little bit of commentary. You know, we don't we don't see news items about people catching a cold or catching the flu. Um, so I wonder if the day in which the news stopped being about who has COVID and who doesn't, I suppose part of me just wishes that, the COVID pandemic will continue to become endemic such that we stop giving these highlights. Anyhow, moving right along, I have some shady news because, again, we have contradictory items here. According to this news note from yesterday, over 20% of Puerto Vallarta's police force did not approve some sort of exam, and as such, they had their weapons confiscated from them. So apparently, the city, our city, is sending out unarmed police members on patrols with armed police members so that they can protect one another while they are protecting us. But this second news item makes things even shadier because this other news note, also from yesterday, tells us a different story. Here we learn that our lovely mayor, Luis Michel, has acknowledged that 150 members of our police do not have weapons, not because they failed their exam or an exam, but because they failed to process their permit to wear a gun. So it is unclear to me, and this news item does not help, whether the policemen in our city, policemen and women, of course, were supposed to process or renew their permits on their own to wear a gun and obviously to use it, or if the city failed to do so. All I know is that out of 700 policemen in our municipality, 20% of them are out there protecting us, even without being able to protect themselves. And no matter how you look at it, I just think it's shady. But what do I know? You know what I know? I know it's time to take a look at the weather. This nice weather is getting out of hand. Well, what is getting out of hand is the heat. But what can I say? It's what makes us schwitzy this time of year. We're enjoying 26 degrees Celsius right now. Feels like 28. Humidity is at 56%. And our Fahrenheit temperature as I speak is 79 degrees. Our weather forecast for today says clear through the day with a high of 31 and a low of 20. Tomorrow, we will enjoy another clear day with another high of 31 and a low of 20. And Saturday, another clear day with a high of 32 and a low of 20. Moving right along, I have an update that may be important to some of you. We had reported that the company in charge of organizing the Mayo fiestas to take place from May 20th to June 5th did not have a permit to have the fiestas. And now they do. Mayor Michel has confirmed that there is a permit in place. So all the very exciting bandas and very exciting music that is going to be performed live here, there, and everywhere has a permission to carry on. Now, if you're curious about what these festivities are going to be like, here is the official Festival Fiestas de Mayo Facebook page, which I would imagine only features the concerts and events organized by this particular company. And I am sure that the city will subsequently announce other events that are taking place that are organized by the municipality. So one way or another, I'll keep you posted. And before we dive into your comments, please know that there are days in which I wish that we were not just focused on news about Puerto Vallarta, because I come across headlines that are either so well written or so clever that I just can't help but to click on the news item. And I'm going to show you one of such headlines. This, of course, is not happening um, in Puerto Vallarta. It's not even happening in Mexico. But the headline, I just couldn't help clicking on it. And here it is. Pool poop claim explodes at luxury Upper East Side condo. And I did read it, but I'm not going to tell you about it because it has nothing to do with us. We don't poop in our pools in Puerto Vallarta. And if you do, well, maybe we should save that for a Sunday fun day. Anyhow, let us take let's take a look at your comments and see what everybody is up to. I love your good mornings, always, always. And yes, one day before my vacation, yay! And I'll give you some details. In fact, let me do that now. Just so you know, tomorrow at this time, I will be on a bus with some dear friends heading to Guadalajara for the weekend. I am so excited. I am apprehensive, but not for the reasons you would think. This is my first big city trip since the pandemic broke out. And no, I'm not crazy. I'm not worried about the bus. I'm not worried about people. I'm just apprehensive because I haven't traveled in a while. And whether that's justified or not, I don't know. That's just the way I am. But everything's in place, including the broadcasts that you will be able to enjoy tomorrow and the day after, which, of course, will be pre-recorded. I will be busy traveling, getting there, and gathering wonderful photos and videos to put together things to share with you when I return. So tomorrow's broadcast will feature timely news that I've been collecting. And then on Saturday, we will have a very special walk around that I recorded last weekend just for you. And that is the way this weekend is going to be playing out. The announcements, of course, will be available on the Facebook page as always. And I hope you will take some time to join in and watch and comment. And of course, I will read all your wonderful comments when I come back from the trip. Now, let us wish happy birthday to Paula, because today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Paula. There you go. Let's see what else do we have. Just had coffee at the living room bookstore. I met Kathy yesterday. Good for you, Karen. I love it. I love it. Paula says, my favorite day of the year, my birthday. Good for you, Paula. I hope that you will have a truly, truly awesome day wherever you may be. Let's see what else. Jonathan is concerned. Thank you very much. Who will take care of Luna while you are away? My next door neighbor, Dina. She lives literally in the apartment next door. She's a dear friend. She has keys to my apartment. She knows that Luna gets a little gloomy when I am away. She doesn't eat as much, but she'll be, spending some quality time with her, just like I spend quality time with her doggy whenever she goes away. It's nice to have neighbors, isn't it? Neighbors that you know and trust. Let's see what else. More good wishes for the weekend. Thank you so very much. Let's see. Gary, I love it when you chime in because you're always traveling all kinds of interesting places, very often within Mexico. So good for you. Good for you to embracing our country, my country, and for spending so much time discovering it. Larry has a question. Read today, Mexico is fourth dangerous country in the world. My thoughts. Doesn't change me living here, though. You want my thoughts? Doesn't change me either. Doesn't change my day-to-day life. Doesn't change my happiness of living here in Puerto Vallarta. I don't pay attention to statistics like that, because to be the fourth most dangerous, to be a medium-sized city within the fourth most dangerous country in the world, Nah, doesn't change a thing. But thank you for bringing it up. I wonder how you feel about it. Not you, Larry. Clearly, you've said that it doesn't change you. But I wonder if other people that are watching get apprehensive. I wouldn't shade you for becoming apprehensive, but I would just keep those kinds of news in perspective in case you feel funny about news like that. Uh, let's see. Oh, another birthday. Happy birthday to Bill Jorgensen. I hope I said that correctly. Let's see. We need another happy sound. Let's see. Do I have another happy sound? We have applause. Happy birthday, Bill. I hope you have a good one. Let's see. Cinco de Mayo is the American excuse to get obliterated on margaritas. Well, that's a good thing, Deborah. We don't need excuses. We can get obliterated on margaritas and suffer the day after any day of the week, any day of the year. Let's see what else we have. Now, no shade for Americans. They need to learn some manners just like everybody needs to learn manners. Mexicans and Canadians too. Let's see after Mother's Day this year and see what happens. If we remember last year, we had high numbers after. If numbers are low, hopefully we can change the mandates and stop policing the door and listening to all the drama. It's getting tiresome. I hear you, Michael, and I can certainly appreciate how you're feeling. The whole pandemic thing is tiresome, and I feel for you who are in business and anyone who is in business having to remind people what the mandates are. It must be exhausting. What does the number 2 in a star-like thing after your name mean? I think it means that you have 2 star-like ears or maybe 2 star-like eyes, something pretty. No, I think Facebook lets you know that you've been watching for a number of years. I'm not entirely sure, but I think as far as I'm concerned that having 2 star-like things after your name means that we love you. There you go. Have I heard about the blue powder spread in fluvial parks? Some residents believe it is rat poison that is also toxic for dogs and cats. No, Harold, I have not heard of such a thing. For that matter, I don't pay attention to any major sentences that begin with "have you heard." I usually pay more attention to "have you read?" And I pay attention to headlines, not to hearsay. So if you have read this somewhere and would like to share a headline with us, we would be so grateful. So as far as I'm concerned, if it's not on a headline, it's not happening. And if that makes me a better person, I don't know or not, doesn't matter. Let's see what else. La. More counters. Deborah will be here in less than 60 days. Alfonso will be here in 14 days. I love it. I see somebody else was clickbaited and read the poop story. Yes, it was quite funny. But again, it's not happening in Puerto Vallarta. So who are we to discuss floaters taking place in New York City? It's not our thing. Let's see what else we have. Liz says, going to treat myself today because I need to. Good for you. What else? What? Oh, there's another cue. Do you think Bed Bath and Beyond will have electric quesadilla makers? You know, my comment about the electric quesadilla makers is going to haunt me until my deathbed. Of course, Bed Bath and Beyond will have electric quesadilla makers. And of course, I'm feeling anxiety because there's no reason why I should be buying an electric quesadilla maker. But if I find one, Mark, I will take a photograph of it just for you. So there. Let's see. Oh, interesting comments. Interesting. I feel much more safe here in Puerto Vallarta than Portland. And Dave gives us something that I can certainly relate to. I get exhausted being asked if Mexico and Vallarta are safe. Let's put on our rant hats for a second, because I would add to that, Dave, because I get exhausted about it too. I get exhausted when people ask me about the water, for example. Uh, and of course, I get exhausted about people asking if it's safe. I get exhausted when people see these announcements from the United States government that they are deeming certain cities safe, because, it's like our life doesn't change. But who are we to judge other people's level of fear? It's exhausting when a lot of these questions come from being misinformed. And it's a matter of just being mindful of the fact that other people have different levels of fear. David is chiming in from South Boston. I read that an important building fell down in Boston. I don't know the details, but that was sad to read, given the fact that I was a Bostonian for almost 2 decades. Da-da-dee-dee-da-da, ma-ma-ma-ma, ba-dee-ba-bam. Let's see. Might the blue powder be grass seed? It is also spread that way. Well, it could be, Christy, but again, this is how comments spread, and this is how questionable information spreads, and this is why I get a little frumpy every now and then when people that have been watching for a long time insist on bringing up hearsay. It's okay, but we are not going to broadcast it, and we're not going to pay attention to things unless we see headlines. And look, we get headlines, and even the headlines contradict themselves. So what are we going to do? You know what we're going to do? We're going to drink margaritas, not because it's Cinco de Mayo, but it's because we can. Great question from Timothy Hall. Any plans for another members meet and greet on a special Sunday session like you did a while ago? Okay, there are several things in the works. I will be happy to announce. Number one, we are due for another online meet and greet for members only, and I will make this happen this coming week. Number one. Number two, given the fact that we had a really interesting Q&A, brainstorming get together after one of our broadcasts with members of the LGBTQ community here at Coffee and Headlines, I think we should also do another live broadcast just for LGBTQ members of Coffee and Headlines, just so we can get to know each other, because a number of us seem to be on the same page of being grateful that there are all kinds of options for things to do, but not so many for those of us that are no longer interested in the bars. Number three, as far as meet and greets are concerned, we will do another in-person meet and greet like we did at Whiskey Kitchen during the month of July, because we figured, and please feel free to share your comments about this, we figured that doing a meet and greet more than 4 times a year seems a little bit like overkill, so we will try to plan one during the month of July. And last but not least, number 4, if as a result of our online LGBTQ get-together, we see a need or a want to plan a special meet and greet for members of the LGBTQ community, we will do this as well. But ultimately, we do, or we try to do, what's important to you. If you have any thoughts about these get-togethers, for them, against them, so forth and so on, this is your community, and I appreciate it so much whenever you give me cues as to what would make you connect better within our little cluster here at Coffee and Headlines. I read that 82 cruise ships docked from January to April. That had to be good for Puerto Vallarta. Absolutely, Paula. And I wouldn't doubt that at all. I know that the number of headlines, the number of cruise ships diminishes markedly between May and October. And we already reported this. I get how important this is. I get exhausted too. Many of my U.S. friends who have never been to Vallarta can't believe we have hospitals and safe places to eat. Let me tell you, Larry, and maybe this will be helpful to you. You know how I turn that around for myself? I make sure that at least once a month I spend time with a person that has never been here before, because watching their amazement of how wonderful a life we have not only is good for them, but it also rekindles my own relationship with our city. So my wish for you is that you try that someday, and you'll see that as much as it's exhausting to read some of the comments that we get from people that have not been here before, we also as locals need to charge that battery. You know what I mean? Let's see what else. Yeah. Uh, Karen says meet and greet before May 19th, possibly. You mean like an in person or online, Karen? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, well, if it's meet and greet, it is in person. Why would we want to do that? What's going on before May 19th? Please let me know. Let's see what else. I think we're there. We're there. We're at the end, unless Karen wants to let us know what is happening before May 19th that we should meet before May 19th. And if we miss that comment, I'll be happy to address it this afternoon. So here we are. What's left to do? Well, for me, I have to prepare and upload tomorrow's broadcast and the one for the next day. I have to dust my apartment so that my next door neighbor does not think that I live like an honest caveman. And then I need to pack my bags, and then I need to go away, and I feel apprehensive. But I know that I'm leaving my kitty in good hands. I know that you will not forget me between today and Monday. So finally, and again, Karen is leaving on the 19th. Ah, I see. So how long have you been here, Karen? Have you been here for many, many months? Have you been here just for a week? Please kindly remember that we put together these meet and greets for English-speaking locals. All due respect. Anyhow, once again, you make this possible. You make Guadalajara possible. You make my life possible, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful for that today and every single day. So, have a great weekend. I will see you from afar tomorrow, and I will be back with you live on Monday. How exciting. Okay, goodbye. Have a great weekend.